Hello there, one and all, and welcome to episode 323 of Love at First Scent with me, Persilace. Feels like it's been a little while since I've done this, and I think it actually has been a little while since we've done a video that hasn't either been themed or a little bit different or an interview or something like that. That's partly because there are a few other commitments that are sucking up quite a lot of my time at the moment. But anyway, we are here today. Thank you very much for tuning in. First comment goes to Eric, who says, hello, everyone. Cynthia's here as well from Austin. Hender saying hello from Tunis. Keith says, I made it. And Andy is excited to catch the start for once. You're all very welcome. Keep the comments and the questions coming. You can tell from the title of the video, and you can see from this array next to me, that we're going to try to cover a few things. I would like to do one of those videos where I mention a few newish things that have come under my nose, some things that I haven't even smelt yet, but also, given that it's this time of year and given that I have been in the last few weeks sent quite a few candles, I thought we could have a bit of a focus on home scents as well and recommend some candles to you. I don't know why, well, I suppose I do know why we tend to focus on candles at this time of year. It's because in this hemisphere, this is when things get a little bit colder. But what I don't know is why we dismiss candles in warmer months, because actually there are plenty of lighter, fresher, citrusy candles that would work very well in the summer as well. But anyway, that's just a little bit of a mystery. Candles make great gifts, says Rachel. Yes, they absolutely do, because they're a little bit less intrusive and a little bit less personal, aren't they, than buying somebody a perfume. I couldn't agree more. And I'm a huge fan of small candle sizes. I remember years ago, L'Artisan Parfumeur did fantastic, really affordable small size candles. They don't do them anymore, I don't think. But I believe Penhaligon's, which of course is owned by the same parent company, they do that smaller size. So what I was going to say is that the sort of rough plan for today is that we're going to do this video, and I'm going to try and take a fairly relaxed approach with it. So I don't know how much time you have all got out there, but I'm not going to do a huge amount of clock watching on this one. I will do my very best to make sure that it doesn't go beyond an hour, and I doubt it'll go beyond an hour, but I won't be overly stressing to meet that 1 hour mark. And then we'll stop and we'll take a very brief break and let YouTube do its thing. And we will come back with a single review video, a newish release from a brand you may have heard of called Chanel. I know that that's probably that is the one that you're all here for, but I think that needs to have a video of its own. Would love to hear your thoughts on the recentish Arquiste works, says Andy. I haven't tried their latest one. Nubianette says most Scandinavian countries burn candles all year, but mostly unscented. It's nice, but I like a bit of scent. Okay, so I think that is a perfect place for us to make a start, because we should start with a new perfume from a Scandinavian brand. And in the true spirit of Love at First Scent, this is one that I haven't smelt before and I haven't even unsealed. So from Bjork Berries, this is the new one called Botanist. So let's do the unsealing thing. I'm surrounded by so many candles that I'm sure they're interfering with my sense of smell, but in the nicest possible way. Anyway. Okay. Now, Bjork Berries, not maybe a brand that we have rated especially highly on this channel. I seem to remember I reviewed one of their scents a little while ago, and I cannot even remember it, which shows how much of an impact it made. But you know, we keep an open mind and keep an open nose. There you go. There's the bottle. Let's pop that on there then. I love the name, says Lynn Liddy. Yeah, that's a good name for a perfume, actually, isn't it? Where can I pop the box? Oh, let's try not to make too much of a mess here. Let's go with this. So, brand new. Here comes the blotter. No idea what this is meant to be like. I do have... No, I don't actually have a press release. I just have a little bit of a blurb. So let's see. Let's spray it away from everything else. Feels like a very, very kind of Bakelite type cap for the bottle. Let's pop that there so you can still see it. Clear the nose a bit. Okay. No idea what to expect. Ah, okay. Does Bjork have a fragrance brand, says Rachel? Smell of robots on the bottom of the sea. No, this is not that Bjork. Okay, this is a Swedish brand as far as I know. Yeah. It's... Oh, Bjork means birch. I had no idea. So, but I wonder, it probably doesn't mean birch in Icelandic, does it? Or maybe just in Swedish. Ah. Coming back to this, you can see I'm trying to deflect. It is just... It really, really reminds me of something. It's kind of like a sort of low grade, nowhere near as interesting juniper sling type composition, maybe because of the juniper bit at the top, but it's basically really quite generic woody, junipery patchouli scent. Lots and lots of patchouli, but not even like a particularly interesting earthy funky patchouli, but that kind of clean earthiness that passes for patchouli in a lot of modern releases. It feels like it could be a pretty generic masculine from a very, very mainstreamy sort of brand. Although I suppose, to be fair to it, at least at this stage, maybe it's just like a couple of notches above that sort of thing. Yes. Citrusy, generic citrus at the top, generic patchouli in the base, something ambery hovering in the background. But why call it Botanist? I mean, you'd have expected something a bit more plant-like. Not a huge amount to say about this one, really. It's fairly uninvolving. Let's see what the brand actually says. I have a feeling they're going to say something rather different from what we're smelling here. Botanist is a green, okay, really? And earthy scent. Well, it's earthy in a very, very safe way. It's earthy in a very, very kind of mainstreamy, accessible way, with notes of cassis, patchouli, and vetiver root that captures the raw and powerful journey from seed to plant. Okay, if this thinks it's raw and powerful, no. What else do they say about it? That's not relevant to you. The scent of Botanist Eau de Parfum captures the fusion of a deep and verdant Swedish forest and a thriving botanical garden, evoking the sense of a deserted greenhouse where wild and cultivated vegetation meet in a green and woody scent, alive with the energy of chlorophyll and plants. That's what I want to smell. That sounds like a fantastic brief and a really, really interesting piece of work. What we've got here is man coming home from gym. And no, he hasn't gone past a greenhouse. I don't even think he's gone to an IKEA. So I don't think he's been anywhere near anything to do with Sweden or Scandinavian countries. The bright scent of green apple and cassis leads to a heart of smoky black tea and rich, mysterious birch. Okay, fine, if you say so. The unexpected earthiness, yes, could do with some unexpectedness, of vetiver root and the woody, powdery scent of patchouli create a soft and lasting finish. Botanist is a green and earthy scent that captures the raw and powerful journey from seed to plant, it says again. Yeah, no, I mean, it is absolutely pleasant. And again, to give it its due, it doesn't have that awful, crass, crude, sharp, grating, woody, ambery thing that so many modern mainstream masculines seem to have. But I guess it's that patchouli thing that's making me think of things like Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage. But yes, just I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so dull. Right, let's put it away because I think we need to make space for other things. Okay, well, I'm sure it'll find some fans. What are people saying about it? Mr. Aristeas, as a well-known search engine translator, tells me that birch in Icelandic is birki. Okay. Thank you very much. Sounds like a Swedish hipster brand, says Pradeep. Yes, I suppose it is a little bit like that. Rachel says, I've heard the culture is for very clean and minimalist scents, so perhaps going for that. Though I'd like to smell as described. Yes, I know, that description was great. I feel like sort of sending it off to some perfume houses saying, could you make us that one, please? You're all laughing at the IKEA reference. The blurb reminds me of Yorum's Paradisi. I do not get that reference. Sounds a bit muesli to me. Muesli would make an interesting scent as well. Think of all of the things that go into muesli. No, this one, yeah, just a little bit on the dull side. Okay. Quick flying mentions as we go along, because I want to sort of clear this space a little bit. Acqua di Parma, this is just good old Acqua di Parma Colonia. Actually, let's have a bit of a spray just to sort of recalibrate. I won't be doing a blotter update on Colonia because you all know Colonia. Just a really, really classic, well done cologne. But I mention it here because I think it's going for the festive season. They are doing these limited edition bottles. I believe, just go on the Acqua di Parma website for wherever you happen to live to see what kind of limited edition stuff they're doing in your area. But this one, you may just be able to make out how it works. Can you see that? These are like sort of stickers that have been applied all around the bottle, and then the cap has been painted, I think, as well. And obviously, this one is a sort of homage to Venice. And I thought that was rather attractive. Yeah, and it's still one of the best colognes you can get, isn't it? It's just so classy, and I love the powderiness of it. I love the soapiness. Pie Wackett says, I have some Colonia in a beauty advent calendar coming up. I'm excited to smell it for the first time. Oh gosh. Scott says, Colonia Assoluta used to be my signature scent. The note collection is also fantastic, albeit a bit overpriced. Yeah, ADP are pretty overpriced. But anyway, you may want to check this out next time you go past an Acqua di Parma canter. I thought that was really, really pretty, and I shall hang on to that one. I like that one because Venice also happens to be one of my favorite places in the world, although I haven't been for a while. Okay, let's do a new brand. And I think it actually is a genuinely new brand in terms of its perfume output. I think it's been around as a perfume brand for only a few months, but I'm reliably informed that as a skincare brand, it has been around for a while. And the brand in question is Argentum. There you go. I don't know a huge amount about skincare, as you can tell. In fact, I'm looking at myself thinking, gosh, I'm looking really sort of pale and wintry at the moment, but never mind. You're not here to see the face, you're here to hear about the perfumes. It's a British brand through and through, but apparently they have become bigger as a skincare brand abroad than they are in the UK. And it seems they've become particularly successful in Asia. I'm going to say that they're big in Korea, but I could be wrong. Anyway, the founder decided that she wanted to go into perfume as well, and so they launched a couple of months ago. This is the slightly sort of scary thing, with no fewer than 13 scents. And that always rings alarm bells in my head when somebody thinks, no, we're not going to launch 1, we're not going to launch 3, we're not even going to launch 5, we're going to launch 13. Okay, 12 of them were new, and the +1 is apparently the bottled version of the smell that had gone into their skincare. So I guess we can let them have that one. But yeah, it's... I don't know how to approach telling you about this one because, well, let's start with the price, okay? They are shockingly expensive, I think, or maybe maybe I actually need to readjust and not be quite so easily shocked by price, because they retail at just under £230 for, I will tell you the size right now. I don't want to do the reveal here just yet because the packaging is rather detailed, I think we can say. Let's see. Oh, people are already reacting to the price. 70 mils, £228 recommended retail for 70 mils. And the packaging, as I say, is very layered, lots and lots going on. So you get this package that looks very much like a book. And when you first get it, it's also actually got a sort of a border around it that you then rip away when you open the box, and that gives you the name of the perfume. This one is called the Magician. Then when you open it, okay, let's try and do this without making everything fall out. You get this kind of pop-out book style thing going on, which must have taken quite a lot of design work. I want to do this properly so you see it, do it, to give it its due. And then there's a text here that says, evoke the power of transformation with number 8 to attract the alignment of self and cosmos. Through the alchemy of science and nature, reveal the magic of manifestation. There's a thing here. I don't even know what this is, actually. Look, I'm going to pull this bit out. It's got a little picture of a key on it. Okay, so this is... Oh, there's a card. Oh, which tells you about the little talisman that you get. Come back to that one. And there's a leaflet. Is this basically just like a leaflet about all of the scents? You can see where they're sort of going with this. I will tell you what the whole concept is behind all of it. Actually, may as well tell you now. It says, introducing the Argentum archetypes. I'll tell you what they are in a moment. 12 symbolic images captured in scent to reflect inherent energies common to us all, infusing the symbology of fire, air, earth, and water, while combining divine numerology. These magical fragrances merge as 12 become one. The somewhat underrated hit in the Spice Girls' oeuvre. With a sense of fun, we invite you to acknowledge your inner beauty. Focus on the archetype's message to inspire balance and harmony within. And so on. There is a silver talisman that comes with each bottle, which partly explains why they're so expensive. Forged in the supernova explosions of stars, your 925 sterling silver talisman is traditionally pressed with a pressure of 80 tons. Each is hallmarked, a practice dating back to the 13th century that assays and marks silver to assure its quality and composition. And I've just seen, what's that? With a sense of fun, watch your wallet get vacuumed out, somebody's saying. Anyway, let me carry on. As is natural with uncoated silver, your talisman will begin to lose its light and tarnish over time. If you desire, restore its brilliance with a silver polishing cloth. I did sort of say to the people who introduced me to the brand, have they done a version of the perfume without the silver talisman so that you can just have the scent if you don't want to pay for the silver? But that is not something they've done at the moment. So let's put all of this back. Clearly I haven't folded it up back the correct way. I'll tell you what the archetypes are, because I will want you to choose which other one to smell in addition to the Magician. Right, that goes there. So let's take the bottle out. Oh, the whole thing sort of comes out. Okay. And let's just pop this here for a second so that you can still see it. Can you still see that there? Yeah, you can see that. There's the bottle, 70 mils, and these are water-based, okay? So they're not alcohol-based. Oh, Argentum skincare is lovely, says Aileen on Beauty. Okay, so we have an endorsement. And can you see that? That's your silver talisman right there. And you can actually remove it. Can you see how I've taken the sort of top bit of the cap off? And it's got a little eye so that you could thread a chain through it and wear it if you so wish. And if you don't like the idea of the top of your cap being bare, they've sort of got a plain cardboard version of the cap that you can pop in there and seal up. So it's Eric says the bottle looks like a sad Fahrenheit flanker. Do you know, I knew I could rely on you to cheer me up for today and to kind of bring... Oh, God, I'm messing this up. So the packaging is very, very, very busy, right? Very, very, very tricksy. A lot going on. Either the kind of thing that people will adore and just fall in love with and think, oh, gosh, yes, I want everything. Or they might just think, you know, you've lost me now. You get the name on the base, so otherwise the bottle is completely plain, apart from the talisman also telling you that it's the Magician. and I'll give it a bit of a shake because it's water-based. Now this one I have already smelt once before, and I have to say it was a very, very attractive frankincense composition and a libidinum composition. They're all done by Delphine Thierry, I believe. And yeah, what emerges straight away is a really, really, really gorgeous frankincense, suitably mineralic and stony and citrusy and smoky. It's got all the sort of requisite, you've just walked into midnight mass at a Catholic church type stuff. I feel like you've wandered through a sea of hokum, says Gavin. Yeah, I can't blame you for thinking, and I'm still undecided. I would much rather pay considerably less for a perfume and do away with all of this stuff, which is almost certainly going to end up in a bin anyway. I mean, okay, it's the packaging all seems to be paper, so that's fine. It's going to be recyclable. But if they want to do that, let them do it. Can they also not just kind of do a refill that we can all buy to have the scent? Style over substance is such a shame, says Ashfaq. The thing to say about this composition, and it is an absolutely lovely frankincense, is that I suppose it doesn't bring anything new to the table. Very difficult to do with frankincense. Hope it's not the Delphine and Thierry from Garlin, says Pradeep. Very good. No, it's not. Let's just label this one Magician. So I don't know. Maybe it's all to do with the sort of the world of the skincare, and maybe you need to go to the boutique, which I think is in the Notting Hill area in London, and immerse yourself in that whole world. But let's find out a little bit more about it, because I would like to smell another one as well. What else can I tell you? Using patented water plant emulsion technology, each fragrance has been created without the use of chemical solvents and alcohol agents, yet still delivers a long-lasting formula that helps to soften and moisturize your skin and hair, unlike traditional fragrances. The patented technology utilizes innovative microemulsions of oil and water to formulate a milky blend. So I guess they're coming at things from their skincare experience, although are most people going to be bothered about that if they just want to buy a perfume? I don't know. A delicate synthesis of science and nature, the water plant emulsion technology enables pure, delicate scents with high concentrations of active ingredients and a formula that feels liquid light with the lasting power of an eau de parfum. And then it goes on about the packaging and the magic of silver. But let's try one more. So I will tell you what the different archetypes are, and then when I finished the list, I will look down and see which name comes up first, because I've got little vials of all of the rest of them. So we've just done Magician. We also have, are you paying attention? We also have Hero, Rebel. I should say that Rebel says it contains oud. Creator, Sage, Ruler, Everyman, Explorer, Caregiver, Lover, Jester, and Innocent. Right, who's going to make the first suggestion? Gavin says, I wanted Hierophant. Well, you're not getting it. Although you are getting Joseph Quatana in an interview very soon. Lover. Rachel says Lover. Okay, let's go to the Lover. Oh, thank goodness, Rachel. You chose the right one, because it is right at the top of the pile of these little vials. So well done. Rachel wins, folks. So let's give this a bit of a shake. I'm going to struggle. Oh, Ashfaq, you're on a roll. Ashfaq says, no con artist. If anybody is watching from the brand, I can only apologize for the unruliness of my crew. Actually, no, I'm not apologizing. I think you're right to be not very easily convinced. But let's see. Okay, so this is Lover. I'm just reading your comments here. So people from all across the world just dissing a brand that you've never even smelt. Stop being so unfair. Okay. So this is Lover. It starts off very kind of gently appley fruity. Again, very, very pleasant. Very pleasant. So, on the strength of these two, they certainly don't come across as cheap, thank God, at that sort of price. but also maybe not especially groundbreaking. There's a kind of, it feels like there's a kind of shampoo musk thing that's going to be happening with my lover, and something gently floral, rosy. Okay, so is it going to be basically like a sort of fruity, maybe raspberry-ish, apple-ish, musky rose? Very, very delicate, nicely done rose. What does it say about it? Where was Lover? On which page was Lover? Okay, Lover, water, floral, musk. Reflect the bliss of number 2 and connect with... Oh, that's an unfortunate phrasing there, isn't it? With effortless commitment to find true love, with passion and balance, attract your heart's song, mirror your reflection and feel. A lover evokes a feeling of floating in veiled moonlight. A stream of roses finds a home in a luscious garden, burgeoning with fruity raspberries, untamed pink peppercorn, and earthy angelica seeds. Okay, so the fact that I said raspberry, fruit, rose, and that we're smelling it here, at least tells you that, you know, on the strength of these two, for what they are, their quality, right? How much you want to pay and whether you want all of this tricksy stuff is going to be a matter of personal choice. The enveloping warmth of the Iranian rose, okay, and Turkish rose absolute is mirrored in a classic geranium note with a soft, zesty twist. It's perfectly pleasant. And actually, we should read Magician as well to see if there's anything else that it says. Where was Magician? Oh, God, fingers are getting sticky. Magician asks you to evoke the power of transformation with number 8. Oh, no, we had that blurb already in the box, didn't we? Magician brings true transformation with its smooth alchemic notes of ancient woods and spices. Cloak yourself with cedarwood, labdanum, and myrrh, which are in perfect symmetry with a fiery black pepper, chili pepper, and clove bud. And they're not mentioning frankincense. I mean, yes, there's lots of labdanum as well, but fine. Right, let me label this. Let's put that press release away because I need to kind of make sure I'm not creating too much of a mess here. And this was what? This was Lover. Okay, let's pop that on there. And I think let's seal up the book. I can just imagine the little ones in my life thinking that this is like the coolest packaging ever. And it is great packaging. Must have taken some time to, you know, to sort out and plan out, but ever so pricey. Rachel says a more innocent idea of Lover. Okay, fine, fruity floral musk. Yes, I suppose there's something quite chaste about it. Do the oud, please, says Ashfaq. I want to move on. Maybe we'll do a whole separate video where we literally go through every single archetype. What do people think of that? 13 cents, different archetypes. Right. I think now that we're nearly at the half-hour mark, let's do our seasonal candles thing. Let's talk candles, and let's get some recommendations from how you enjoy scenting your home at this time of year. If you start becoming festive in your house, sounds a bit muesli to me again, says Legoist. Let's just adjust this here a little bit. And there isn't a huge amount of time that you can spend on candles, I suppose, but let's go through them. So this one here, in this attractive container jar, is the latest one from Henry's Townhouse. Now, I had the pleasure of visiting Henry's Townhouse just a few weeks ago. I didn't even know what it was when it was first launched as a hotel, which is what it is now. I wasn't able to attend the launch, and the brand also launched with some candles, with scented candles. This is their latest one called Saturnalia, in time for the festive season. But what makes Henry's Townhouse interesting for the likes of me is that the Henry of the name is or was Jane Austen's brother, and this was actually his house back in the day, and it has now been converted into a hotel. And there is evidence to show that Jane Austen herself went and stayed there a few times, and there are certainly letters that she posted to him. She wrote the address, and when you go there, they've got some rather special editions of all of Jane Austen's works, and it was quite special, you know, for somebody who's worked as an English literature teacher and you know and as a writer and a bit of a literature buff. It was quite special walking up the staircase that Jane Austen might have walked up. I've been to her house actually, which is not far from where we live, in a place called Chawton. And if you're ever in the area, And if you're sort of umming and ahhing and wondering whether to go to Jane Austen's house, do. It's well worth a visit. So this, as I say, is Saturnalia, and I will read what the brand says about it. As the dark nights draw in, thoughts turn to evenings spent around the fire with friends and family. Well, not in this house because we don't have a fire. No 18th century London townhouse was complete without swaggers of evergreen decorations woven with holly, ivy, mistletoe, and rosemary, adorned with spices and oranges. And that's where this candle comes in. With hints of warm vanilla, mellow cinnamon, sweet orange, and a touch of fiery ginger, Saturnalia embodies the festive winter season. It doesn't have a huge amount of throw, but again, that kind of thing comes down to personal preference. When I light a candle, I'm afraid I do really want to be able to smell it from the other side of the county. And then I, when I'm done with it, I extinguish it and put it away. But this one feels like it might work better in a slightly smaller space. But having said that, putting aside the issue of diffusiveness, it does smell very, very naturalistic. And that spicy, gingery, nutmeg, clovey, orangey thing that it claims to do, I think it does well. So that's from Henry's Townhouse. Let's put the blurb away, the press release away. Another one that I would like to re-mention is one that I think I talked about on this channel before, but I've been burning it a lot. This is from Ginori. Their Rajathra Palace, done as a collaboration with Luke Edward Hall. That's right. And it's such a good scent. It's such a good perfume that's gone into this one. Which and actually that's a whole other area of perfume expertise, isn't it? To make something that is welcoming but interesting at the same time, gets your attention to a certain extent, but isn't so distracting that you end up thinking about nothing else but the smell. This really is like a very, very, very realistic evocation of some kind of fantasy of an Indian market, circa 1935 or something. It's got the spices in there, lots and lots of cinnamon, lots of patchouli, burns extremely well. And then when you're done with it, you've got this rather attractive jar. New to me was the range of candles from the Paul Smith brand. Now, you may remember that just is the logo actually? No, that's oh no, there we go. Right at the front, you can see, you may be able to see in gold the Paul Smith logo. I thought these were rather fetching bottles. The candle comes with this lid, which also acts as a base, which I think is a genius idea. Feels like very, very, very good quality glass, this one. Let's pop that there for a second while I get the press release. The Paul Smith perfume side of things has recently gone to a new licensee. Because if you remember, there were some kind of on the affordable side, shall we say, Paul Smith perfumes that were out there for a while, but I think they're either going or gone, and things are going to be a little bit more upmarket from the Paul Smith range. There are 4 candles. There's one called Botanist, believe it or not, inspired by the clean-cut tailoring at Paul's first Nottingham shop. Then there's Daydreamer, inspired by Paul's long summer holidays. Early Bird recalls the reclaimed iron railings at Paul's London shop and is designed to recreate the scent of rain falling on wet pavements. Now, that is one that I want to smell. And then there's this one called Bookworm, a scent that is reminiscent of the stacks of books and papers in Paul's office and evokes libraries and a warming amber, formulated with Jamaican pimento berry, unexpectedly grapefruit, and cedarwood. But really, I like this one, and I want to burn it soon, because the contrast between the grapefruit and the sort of peppery, cedary side of things is really quite striking, and I can't think of where else I've smelt it. Yeah, that's an interesting piece of work, and to show off their credentials, the brand are claiming or saying or revealing, I should say, that every one of the scents has been carefully crafted by 2 IFF perfumers, Celine Barrel and Maeve McCurtain, to stay true to Paul Smith's individual sensibility, and the specially selected ingredients include fine natural oils sourced from LMR, or Laboratoire Monique Remy, one of the world's most renowned purveyors of raw materials. So I think they've kind of tried to up their game a little bit. The candle, one of these retails at £65, so not even candles are cheap these days. And it also comes as a reed diffuser. I'm not a huge fan of reed diffusers. Moving on, we've already mentioned Acqua Di Parma, but here's another one from them. They've done a sort of festive range. They've done a panettone candle and a panettone reed diffuser, and they've also done this one, which I know its name translates as the magic of the fireplace, but I don't know whether it's Magia del Camino or Magia del Camino. And if I've inadvertently said something really frightfully rude, I'm really sorry. I feel like, I don't know, because if it were Polish, it would be Magia, but I don't know. This is one of those really well done fireplace scents. So you've got woodiness, you've got something peppery hovering in the background, you've got that sort of birch tar leathery feel. This one definitely one that I shall look forward to burning at Maison Percelet soon. And I like the kind of, is this meant to evoke Italian paper, I suppose, with that kind of marble? It's the second one you said, says Paul Perfumer. Yeah, but when you tell me that, I can't remember which one I said. I think the second one I said was Magia, right? I don't know. We also have one that I would like to recommend to you from Penhaligon's. Now, I quite like this packaging, even though it's sort of really annoying to get the candle back into it once you've taken it out. This one, now, don't start inserting consonants into this name, because this one is called Sinking Oud. No extra consonants after the S. And look, this bit slides out, and then you take the candle out. But I was impressed with this one as a candle. An interesting, sort of unexpectedly pink candle jar. I keep saying jar. What is it? Glass, candle glass. And this was like a candle version of some of the more recent Dior Collection Privée ouds, things like oud rosewood, spice blend, maybe even oud Isfahan. And again, I thought, oh, well done for turning something like this into a candle. Looking increasingly for one called Power Cut, says Legoist. Looks peach, says Rich Mitch. Yes, I can see how it looks peachier there, but over here it's kind of pink. Well, we'll go with peach, I don't know. So this gets thumbs up from me. And in case you didn't know, Miller Harris have just done a limited edition L'air de Rien candle. Actually, I don't need this anymore, so this can go away, can't it? Yep. And they recently changed their whole candle range so that their candles now kind of have this sort of appearance. This is their Tabac candle, which is greener than you'd think it's going to be. So it's almost like they've gone for the tobacco leaf. Really attractive, and actually smelling it now makes me think of the kind of clean quality of the Acqua Di Parma Colonia. And then they've also got a tea one. They've got several others. This is, I guess, what passes for a tea accord in modern perfumery, which is to say that it's got that kind of strangely bergamoty, lemony, musky, citrusy feel with some kind of sort of green fuzziness happening in the background. I need to give a shout out to this one because this remains my favorite candle for the Christmas season, but I had a quick look at the brand's website and I don't know if it actually exists as a candle anymore. It's the Joyeux Noel candle by Dominique Ropion from Frederic Malle. This is my candle from last year because I make sure that I sort of make it last. Just the most perfect home scent of sugar-coated, sugar-dusted pine. It's like a Christmas tree that's been sprinkled with icing sugar. Just amazing. And I saw on the Frederic Malle website that they've done it as a room spray, which completely defeats the purpose of it. I think you need to see this burning in that beautiful red container. So I don't know. Maybe it's on its way as a candle. And the reason why I'm kind of showing you these other ones fairly quickly is because I want to give another shout out to what has definitely been the most interesting arrival this year, as far as I'm concerned, on the home scents scene, and that's the candles from Ostens. Okay, I went on and on and on about how much I love their Jasmine candle a few months ago. And the trouble is that I actually like it so much that I'm trying to burn it as little as possible because I don't want it to finish. But oh, it is just something else. And it probably is my favorite of the three. And I'm going to mention the latest one that they've just done. It really is just like it's just like walking past a whole load of blooming jasmine in the evening. But it also has got almost like a sort of gourmand quality where you're sinking your teeth into some kind of jasmine infused custard or something like that. It's just beautiful. The rose, which I haven't even burned yet, as I told myself that I really mustn't go too much like a kid in a sweet shop and finish one before I do the other one. The rose is different. I think the jasmine one will end up being my favorite. The rose is a much more demure, much more chaste, much more innocent, much more well-mannered rose, but a beautiful rose nonetheless. Their rose reminds me of potpourri, says Rachel. Yes, I see what you mean. It also reminds me of the limited edition rose centifolia candle that Diptyque did the other day. Oh, and well-remembered Persolaise. I should also say that one of the candle recommendations for this season is the Diptyque pumpkin candle that I mentioned a few weeks ago, but that's now gone to a good home. Somebody in the family fell in love with it, and I sort of said they can have it. But absolutely, that gets a recommendation, and that's a limited edition for the winter season only. And then the latest from Ostens. This was an interesting candle launch. This, I keep showing them as though each one looks different. They all look the same, right? But this is their Cashmeran velvet candle. And when I found out that they were doing a Cashmeran one, I thought, ooh, well done, lads. That's quite brave doing a Cashmeran candle, because I think Cashmeran is well, it's an amazing material. If you ever get a chance to smell it in isolation, do. Lots and lots of modern perfumes have a hefty amount of it in the base. If you want to kind of try, if you can't get hold of the pure stuff, try to smell something like Dans tes bras from Frederic Malle. The dry down will give you a pretty good sense of what Cashmeran is. Another one that you could try would be Déclaration d'un soir from Cartier, if that's still around. It's considered to be a musk material, a synthetic musk, and so it is. But its particular twist on things is that it's kind of spicy and velvety at the same time. But like a lot of musks, it does this weird thing where its smell is so huge and so gigantic that you can almost actually become nose blind to it. And this effect of not being able to see the wood for the trees, and you sort of smell it and smell it and smell it, and then you suddenly don't. And that's why I wondered what a Cashmeran candle would be like. Plus, depending on how it's dosed, its diffusiveness varies very, very dramatically. So if I were to smell it now, then I immediately get that recognizable, distinctive whiff of Cashmeran, which is it just makes me think of spices made of velvet, or velvet made of spices, or velvet sprinkled with spices. There's something very, very, very kind of Middle Eastern souk about it. But I've burnt it a few times because I wanted to see how it actually functions technically as a home scent. And it's interesting. It doesn't fill the space in that very, very obvious way like the jasmine one does. It does this kind of scent coming in and out of our perception sort of thing. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have a kind of slightly anosmic thing when it comes to Cashmeran, and you ought to try smelling it yourself. But technically, it's interesting that they've gone for this. It's a beautiful smell, and when you do get it, it's very, very warming. It's very welcoming. It's like a sort of fireplace without a fire. There's heat radiating from it. There's heat emanating from it, but without flames. You don't really see flames. You kind of see the smell of heat, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm interesting that they've gone for that. Interesting that they decided to go with Cashmeran. Okay, have I done all of the candles that I was going to do? I believe I have. Done the Penhaligons, done the Miller Harris. Any other suggestions from anybody else? Please leave them in the comments below. And so maybe we should do a couple more perfumes. Oh, very, very quick mention of this one. I won't go on about it, but this is new from Ulrich Lange, and it's called Lethe, as in the mirror that strips you of all your memories. I have reviewed it over on persolaise.com, but I would like to give it a mention here because I think it is well worth your time. Again, a brand that is under the radar. I wasn't so crazy about their last one, which I think was inspired by a Chinese address. But as you know, I'm a huge fan of Apsu. I think Ulrich Lange himself is a very interesting character, and I think he takes his perfumery work very, very seriously. I still really, really wish that he would reveal who the perfumers of his scents are. He reveals the names of the photographers, because each of his perfumes always goes with a photo, and the photographer for this one is a chap called Łukasz Wierzbowski. I'm guessing he's Polish with a name like that, or at least with a Polish origin. This felt, just in a nutshell, it felt a little bit like revisiting the original Bulgari Purom and the original Paloma Picasso Minotaur, which of course we got a very, very strong whiff of in the latest from Parle-moi de Parfum. So do check it out if you can. I'm really enjoying wearing this one. And let's finish with, why don't we finish with actually a new brand. It's been around for almost a year, I believe, an Australian brand, so from all over on the other side of the world. The brand is called Peosym. I think that's how you say it. I don't know if any of you out there have tried this. And their debut scent is called, hang on, let's get this here, is called Lost Wanderer, as opposed to Lost Wanderer, okay? So non-native speakers may not get the nuances of that. So this isn't somebody who's wandering around, it's somebody who's wandering and is lost. Let's do a spray, and then we will see what the brand says about it. Always happy to bring a new brand to your attention, especially if it's one, you know, from a country that maybe isn't normally associated with scent creation. Yeah, and I remember thinking this when I first smelt it, that it's a really, really nicely done, very, very attractive amber, heading, you know, maybe leaning a little bit more on the sweet side, the vanillic side, rather than the spicy side. Peppery notes up top, maybe a touch of incense, like a kind of, I suppose, like a sort of much more streamlined, much cleaner, much more accessible Ambre Sultan from Serge Lutens. Like a kind of entry point amber scent. Very, very attractive. The story that goes with it, though, is intriguing. So where can I take? There we go. Lost Wanderer. They call it, the brand calls it, the scent of grief, which actually is an interesting kind of marketing pitch, isn't it? Wrapped in the warmth of memories and love. And then they've got a sort of blurb that they call a story. It says, home was always you, never a place. The conversations keep going on in my head, creating collages from sweet memories of cozy moments. I imagine all the wise things you would say, close my eyes and find you there, smiling, grinding spices, reading newspapers spread all over the floor, laughing too much to ever finish telling a joke. And for a while, it is nice until I wake up. A part of you still stays with me, becoming a part of me. And then in brackets, it says, memories of my mother. The fragrance journey, which I guess is their way of saying notes, says spicy, cozy, comforting vanilla with velvety tobacco. A scent created to cherish memories and revisit moments like fallen autumn leaves. Incidents we hold close to our hearts to escape time. While the initial blast can be sweet, it says a few minutes later it'll settle down into woody, resinous warmth with a hint of distant, smoky background. Lingering softly like an intimate moment, this creates the cloud of an ethereal hug. If you pay close attention, you may find hints of an old letter with fading ink, which is a nice touch. So yes, if you fancy the sound of that, or if you're not too far from that part of the world, maybe they might send you a sample. It's in my mind, as I'm smelling it, we started with the Bjork Berries, and I'm trying to formulate a reason in my mind for why I am being more complimentary of this one than I am of the Bjork Berries. So if we go back to Botanist, yeah, okay. I think the thing is that Botanist is now going into into kind of crass, cheap patchouli territory. Did you see what the forehead did just then with the Bjork Berries? Whereas this one, the Peosym, even though it may not be wildly original and it's on the quiet side, at least you're convinced that it's been made with more attention to detail and with more interesting and high quality materials, according to what my nose detects. So even though neither is especially groundbreaking, there is a kind of honesty about the Peosym, which is totally lacking in the, gosh, that Bjork Berries one is, yeah, okay, really not doing very well. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for going through that journey with me. Actually, let's see what the water-based ones are doing. Let's try that Magician. Yeah, quietening down and some kind of spiky woodiness there. And the rose, the Lover is still being a nice, gentle rose. Thanks very much for watching. I need to have a few minutes to clear all of this away, but then, as I said, we will be back with a single perfume review video on something new and rather exciting from Chanel that I haven't unsealed yet, so I will be smelling it for the first time with you. But until the next time, which is just in a few minutes, thank you very much for watching this one. Be good, and I will see you soon.